Are you willing to give Starfield a second chance? If so, you may be wanting to do that around about the end of this year or come fall. That's when the first major DLC for Starfield is going to release, called Shattered Space. This has been confirmed by a recent interview with Todd Howard on the Kinda Funny Games podcast. Ultimately then, this is kind of an interesting prospect. Starfield is not that widely played according to figures on Steam charts, just 5,000 players or thereabouts are the peak numbers in the past 24 hours, and that's very low for a Bethesda game that's less than 1 year old. So at this point, I feel that most people have probably moved on from the Starfield arguments, and I don't want to drag all that up again. At least not all the old arguments. What I'm more interested in is how many of you are willing to give Starfield a second chance if you weren't happy with it the first time around. And there's a reason for this. The reason I'm asking, that is because every time I release a Starfield video, regardless of the nature of that video, it can be a news video, it can be a critical video, or it can be a very positive video, they all tend to get very low views. And based on the comments below those videos, it's because generally speaking, people aren't interested in the game. So, with the recent interview with Todd Howard, it's a chance for me to make a new Starfield video and actually ask you for your opinions on the subject. So do let me know in the comments section below as I'm talking about all of what little we know about Shattered Space. So Shattered Space has been confirmed to be releasing sometime in the fall, that's the autumn for us Brits, and I guess that could make it roughly almost exactly a year from the release of Starfield itself, which if I remember correctly come out in September. So that's a little bit before the fall, maybe November or something like that. At any rate, Bethesda have been very quiet about an exact release date, and they've instead been hinting perhaps at a surprise drop or just waiting until closer to the intended date to reveal the specifics. Beyond that, in terms of content, very little is known. What we do know is that it's a major story expansion. It's going to add new story content, new locations, new gear, and much more. Now, it may also, as far as we can tell, explore the origins of House Faroon, which is a faction known for their really religious zeal, military might, and the worship of the Great Serpent. What I'm personally hoping for, though, is that Shattered Space may bring us some more fundamental changes to the game. All the time between Starfield's release and the release of Shattered Space is a perfect opportunity, after all, for Bethesda to focus on some of the key areas that people really want to see improved. Removing all the multitude of loading screens probably seems a bit far-fetched due to the nature of the creation engine, but what may be possible is increasing the sheer amount of variety on the galaxy itself, the various different systems. I really would like to see more on that side of things. And yes, that is something I've spoken about in the past. Basically, the way it works now is that the settled systems have a major influence on the systems that are not settled. And I'd like to see that change, that the further away you get from the settled systems, the more Wild West and frontier land you actually see, without any signs or traces of that, the major factions from the settled systems. A massive DLC like Shattered Space is the perfect opportunity to introduce a lot of minor changes that have a huge overall impact. But then of course there is the other problem that not everyone will purchase or pick up the DLC. What else we know is that very soon a new update is going to be released. This is going to be a pretty significant update and will finally include maps to the cities, something that's been missing since day one and long requested for. Apparently there's also going to be some improvements to ship buildings, although again no specifics on that. From what we can tell, the beta for this is going to start very, very soon. Elsewhere, Todd Howard has confirmed that the creation kit for Starfield is currently being tested by select creators. Todd said that a full release for the creation kit is planned for the near future. Now, I'm a little bit surprised about this one because honestly, I was expecting it to arrive around about March time, which would have been roughly 6 months after the release of Starfield itself, but it seems it's a little bit on the longer side. Either way, I'm very interested to hear what people could come up with when they finally get their hands on the tools necessary to make all the changes they might want to Starfield. Hopefully, we should see some pretty big improvements come in later this year in that regards. So that's it. That's everything we know so far about Starfield, Shattered Space, as well as the nature of the upcoming creation kit, not to mention the next patch releasing very soon. Meanwhile, I'm going to be checking the comments below because hopefully you've let your thoughts there. The main question, of course, is not what did you find wrong with Starfield. I don't want to go over those old arguments, but more to the point, are you willing to give Starfield a second chance? Do let me know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching the video. I'll catch you next time, and take care.